Welcome back, King. With over 4,000 quests, completing this quest book becomes a mental game. I've been moving forward consistently, but what if that momentum stops? What if I underestimated the size of this challenge? So what? I'm not backing off now, and I'll keep going until every quest is complete. What's up, everyone? This is Z29 Ultra, and welcome back to All the Mods 10. I think a few of you will be happy with today's video. Last time we made this server room, and we also made this auto crafting setup, which was quite the hot topic in the comments. Look, I understand this is kind of a nightmare to set up. I just want to generate these resources passively, and these crafters are insanely fast. It does serve a purpose. For what I want to do next, I want to upgrade our power generation once again. We could produce quite a bit of power with just these magmeters. We can upgrade this to a high enough tier using our energizing setup. So I'm going to get to work on that right now. Like last time, this mod, if you don't have auto crafting things set up for it, it's pretty awful to set these things up and upgrade. First, I need to turn all of these energizing rods into hardened. Yeah, that's good. I could upgrade the energy cell as well. All right, we got the hardened tier energy cell. The next tier is blazing. We need to make these blazing crystals. There we go. Can I make the block instead? Yes, that takes 1,000,000 FE. Look at that. Looks like we have that. Nice, dude. So we got our blazing tier magmators here, or magmators. We also need to upgrade all of these guys once again. I could also use a different mod for this energy routing, like mechanism, but we just haven't gotten into mechanism yet. Each of these magmators are producing 1,000 FE per tick. So now we have 8,000 FE per tick. Can we actually go a step further? Niotic. And I think that's made with diamonds. We could probably make this. I got this thing semi-automated. You just input your items you want empowered in there, and it'll do the thing, and then it'll import into here. I have a inventory reader here. Inside this inventory reader, you got a couple options. This is inspecting the energizing orb. If the inventory is empty, it's set to true, so we could put that in here. We get that variable card right there. If we have no items in there, then this boolean is set to true, and when this is true, items will import into the energizing orb. We go in here, and we needed to change the item transfer rate to 1. We can put that in there and watch it go to work. I'm also going to upgrade our energy cell one more time. There we go. We got our energy cell blazing level. Let's grab all our magmators, grab this as well, and I just messed up big time. Damn it. Now we have 16,000 that we're generating. And now is where we jump into some fun stuff. We are going to jump into applied energistics 2. We need to find somewhere where a meteor has fallen. And I had already found some. I already have one here and one here. But let's say you have trouble finding a meteor. We can make this meteorite compass right here. Oh, really? You have to charge your compass. You could use a wood crank? What? Really? Okay, I'm assuming you still have to make the charger. And then you can put the wood crank on there and you can spin that. I like that. So if you really have no power at all, you just use this and you spin it 10 times. Wow, look at that. That is funny. So this meteorite compass points us directly to where those are at. Are those flamingos? Hey, yo. Here we are. So if we go down here, we could see some goodies. I think this mysterious cube will just drop us the presses. Yeah, all the presses we need and a guide. Oh, yes, this guide is so good, guys. Everything you could ever need is in this guide. You could even search it up. It's awesome. We have a block of Certus quartz in the middle, and then we have the budding Certus quartz. I think if you mine this with a silk touch, you should get it. Yes, and I think these are too small to actually get anything out of. We got some Certus quartz dust, and I think you get a block if you mine the budding Certus quartz without silk touch. So let's just grab all these with silk touch so we keep them with us. We're actually gonna go grab more at the other meteor. Here's the other one I had found. It's in the water and it's already exposed like that. That's cool. These things, I'm pretty sure they just grow Certus quartz when you place them down. If we want to speed this process up, there are growth accelerators. I'm not sure if we have everything we need. No, we do not have everything we need to make this just yet. While I wait for these to grow a bit, I could show you guys the Akashic Tome. Akashic Tome is a great way to store all your guides and books. So you open this is where all your guides and all your books from different mods would show up. And we're going to add the applied energistics guide to it. You just put it in a crafting like this. You can hold shift. It tells you what mod has what in there. Open it, and then we can select that guide, and then we could use it as if it was just a regular book. So you just punch the air, left click, and then it turns it back to the Akashic Tome, and you can go back and select all that stuff. Okay, so our Akashic Tome has all those books in there. We can select them just like that, and we can turn it back to the Akashic Tome and store it in our backpack. Perfect. These are growing, but they're taking quite a while. Can I make some growth accelerators? I have some Certus quartz dust, so we can make a bit of that. And then we need Fluix MB glass cables, we need quartz fiber. We can also make that. We actually do have everything to make some of these guys. I think it matters how you place these down. You want them to be facing that way. I'm not entirely sure. And I think these accept power just regularly now. So if we would just grab a flux point, put it on the output network and attach cables, they connect just like that. These receive power. And now look at that. Look at how much faster that is. Yeah, we're definitely going to be, there we go. We can mine that with fortune. That gave us some Certus quartz. That is so much faster than if we were to just wait naturally like this. So the more it grows, eventually, there you go. It turns into a Certus quartz block, just like that. I'm going to do this for a little bit and we'll see how much we get. Well, I would say out of those, we got quite a lot. So much that I'm actually going to make that seed and we won't have to worry about that anymore. Put it around like this. And then I think it's probably Imperium. No, it's Tertium. We put that in there and in there, and there we go. Put some red fertilizer, start growing that. But these growth accelerators, these things would help us a lot. We could have 4 on each side of like one seed, and that thing will grow pretty fast. We have everything we would need for this. This Fluix, let me go over this Fluix real quick. The way you would normally get this, we would take that charger we made earlier, put some power down into the charger, and you give it a Certus quartz, and it'll charge it. And once it's charged like this, we just need to grab a bucket of water like that, some redstone, then some nether quartz. You just drop that in there in the water, and it should just turn into Fluix. Boom, Fluix crystals, just like that. There's just a ton of ways to make it. But what we're doing is we're growing Fluix essence, and we're making it through our crafting recipes with this Fluix seed. We got this out of a reward. These growth accelerators need power to work. We could use an energy transmitter if we want, but I think another thing that's pretty cool is the crystal resonance generator. This thing basically free power in a way. We need a Fluix block, another charged Certus quartz. You could use the empowerer we have to charge up. That's really cool. I didn't know you could do that. You just slap a stack in there. Watch it go to work. That is really, really cool. This thing right here, I'm pretty sure this, you place it down, it just generates power. This thing doesn't look like it powers regular blocks, but it will power a growth accelerator. If we were to put a growth accelerator here, and then we put that on top, I think that becomes online. And look at how quick that's, look at this. This is one growth accelerator. Such a huge difference in growing these crops. It's actually insane. You might have seen this type of setup before. So I got a little bit of a checkerboard pattern here that I want to do. Let's say we put a growth accelerator there, crystal resonance generator below it, grab our copy paste tool, right click on the bottom, and shift right click on there, and go into paste mode. And now we could just paste this in all these little holes, just like this. See how this one's surrounded by 4? So we probably want one that we want to generate lots of, like diamond or netherite. Let's do the diamond, actually. Let's put the diamond there. Look at how fast it generates now. Look at that. That's insane. All right, there we go. So I got all the crystal growth accelerators that the pylon could reach. The pylon is actually our biggest bottleneck right now. As you can see, the crops stay fully grown for a little bit sometimes, and they don't get harvested for just a very slight second. But that's not our focus. Our focus right now is supposed to be applied energistics too. Now that we got that out of the way, this is where I'm going to make a nice build for all applied energistic things. It's going to take me some time, but it's going to be well worth it. I'm thinking of building some sort of sphere. One of the best ways to make a sphere is to use the builder with a shape card. This is just a base shape card. You right click this and you can select a shape. Usually you get a preview here, but it's not working. There's top dome, bottom dome, and then sphere. For the dimensions, it's 49 by 49 by 49. And we said it's a hollow. You could put it solid so everything is also filled in the center, but I want it hollow. If you put that in there, we could generate the support and preview mode like this, and we could see an outline of the sphere we're trying to make. I also want to align it with some chunks. I want it inside of a 3x3 area of chunks. See here, we're a little bit too far that way, so we got to bring it back a bit. I think you can offset this inside of here. I think this is X, Y, Z. Let's say 3 blocks that way. Yeah, that worked. This direction, too far on this one. Go in here, we could put -1, regenerate that preview, and there you go. I need to terraform a little bit. So I've got my terraformed area here. Now I just need to check this out. This is where it's gonna go. I'm actually gonna put some markers down. So this is what I mean. Now that I have these placeholders, I can tell where things are gonna go, and I got a better idea of how this build is gonna turn out. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna grab a spruce barrel like this. You put an inventory on top of the builder for it to use the materials you're providing. I'm gonna use the polished diorite, and we're gonna flick this on and watch this go to work. There we go. It's starting to put it all down. That is so cool looking, man. That's really cool. Wow. There you go, I think it's done. So we got our dome here, but it's, I don't know if it's up to par yet. I gotta do lots of things to it. It's a good start. So I'm gonna spend a bunch of time adding a couple things, and yeah, we'll see where we go from there. So I got this glow effect I want to do with all these frame center slabs, but because it's such a tight space, it's going to be difficult to get in there to texture all of these. There is a cool device, personal shrinking device, this guy right here. So let's make this guy. So you right click and you get the settings. If we press down, we can make ourselves smaller. If we go up, we can make ourselves bigger. If we hold shift, it goes by increments of 1. So if we do a -1, we do shift right click, that shrinks us down, and now we can fit in between these spaces to texture these things because we are very tiny now.
Like super tiny.
It's a bit of a long process, but this definitely speeds it up a little bit. Well, it was quite a lengthy process, but here is our build. We got a nice looking dome here. This is where we're gonna house all of our applied energistics items, everything we need to make it operational. I really like how this turned out. I find the glass, it looks kind of like a face when you look at it from here. We have like a sort of crystal thing at the top here. I used the icy blue concrete. Like, look at all these dyes. This is amazing. So I've been using a bunch of icy blue dye. That whole auto crafting thing is really coming in handy here. I got a bunch of sand, gravel, so I could use a bunch of concrete. Everything's getting just crafted for us while we were building this. I got these little trees that I made using a couple of little tricks with the frame blocks mod and then the camo mod. I had to get a little creative with some spots. Like this right here. This block right here on the outside actually looks like polished diorite. That's because we are using a framed double corner. I think if I place it like that, grab my framed wrench, this guy, right click till I get this orientation. On this face, I could put the concrete panel. Over here, I could put the diorite, and it makes it seamless. And I really like these little laser beams kind of thing I've designed. Just make a post with the white luminax and then use a camo block with some glass, just like this. It looks like it's encased. All of this glass in here is from the Crystallix mod, so we could just go right through it just like that. Of course, I have these doors mainly for aesthetic purposes. Elevator blocks in this corner. I also use ethereal glass panes, so you could just walk through it, but mobs cannot walk through it. And it was the same type of color scheme that we're going for. So to get started in applied energistics, we need to make these things called inscribers. That's basically the first step. So this inscriber, we place it down and you go in here, you can put some presses along with the material. These presses are found when you mine that meteorite. Logic circuit, if we put gold with a logic press, and we need a bunch of this stuff like forever. We also have the silicone press to make printed silicone, and silicone we can actually use mystical agriculture to grow it. That'll be easier to do than smelt nether quartz or Certus quartz quartz dust. Just gotta make the seed. So I'm gonna put that here. There we go. I got the silicone all automated. So these inscribers, you just provided some power. Let's say we wanted to make a printed silicone like that. So you could put the press either there or there. I don't think it matters. Grab our silicone and we can slap it in there and you can see it goes to work just like that. I don't know about you guys, but this light mode, I'm not a big fan of it. There's actually a resource pack you can get in order to darken all of this. All right, so now when I open this up, it's dark mode. I actually kept the light mode color for all of the blocks in the mod. The light mode matches our build. Now that we know how the inscriber works, there's a couple more presses we need to automate. Well, there we go. I got the processors all automated. You got the circuits, you got the printed silicone, and then in the back, I got it routed exactly where it needs to go. Circuits go up here, and then the silicone round robins into each of these inscribers through the back. The redstone also round robins, one item at a time. Each drawer has a pusher upgrade that pushes downwards into the inscriber. Inside of this inscriber, you can tell it to auto export with this button right here. If you have an inventory on the bottom, it will automatically go into that inventory. So yeah, now we're making the processors, and I linked this to our network so we can actually go in our system, and there they are. I added 4 netherite upgrades to these to make it 2.1 billion in storage size, because having a massive backlog of these will always be handy. Oh yeah, and I'm powering all of these inscribers with a energy transmitter and then a flux point down here. We can actually speed them up right now because we already have everything we need to make these acceleration cards. We need an advanced card, which uses our calculation processors, and we just need flux crystals, which we have automated thanks to mystical agriculture. So there we go. We got 10. You could put 4 of these, I think. Now they're working a lot faster, using about 1,000 FE per tick. I think I want to build my ME controller right now. The ME controller is basically, you could think of it as the brain. It's a pretty simple recipe. Once you got processors automated, you can see it's using engineering processors to make these ME controllers. I just need skystone blocks, which is smelted skystone. So we could start growing this then. I might as well do that. All right, so I got skystone automated. Now I just want to smelt. I have a netherite furnace here with blaze rod blocks, and then I configured this right side to be an input and output. I put auto input, auto output on as well. You just put a spruce barrel here, and then it'll do everything. This is just